What's up? What's up? I'll tell you what's up. Spider Farmer's Supplemental Light Series now at spider-farmer.com. Go check them out, including the Glow R40. Get yourself some supplemental lights, whether it's UVA, UVB. Go check them out. You might not be getting all the spectrum that you need for your plants, but now you can with the Sup series. Go to spider-farmer.com. Use promo code PIGEONS420. You'll save a few dollars off at checkout. You'll get some supplemental lighting, and you will be growing some incredible herb. Use promo code PIGEONS420. spider-farmer.com. Set yourself up right, and you won't be disappointed.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Happy Wednesday. It's time for Tea with P, where the T is beer and the P is me, and you are here, and we are gonna have a great time together. Real quick, huge shout out to the band doing they thing, and a huge shout out to Mrs. P. Woo! Mrs. P is in the house. Guys, wow, thank you for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, so that means it's time for Tea with P. If you guys are just getting here and this is your first time showing up, I want to welcome you. I want to say hello. I want to say bring in your herb, bring in your drinks, let's chat. We're going to talk about all things, nudes, culture, science, health, you name it. We're covering everything in this space right now. One thing we didn't do was kill the air. Didn't kill the air, yes. The air conditioner is on, which means you can hear this like sound just slightly. And sometimes we deal with it, sometimes we don't. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Huge shout out to the Gauntlet crew, baby. Huge shout out to the Growers Gauntlet. I hope everybody flying in from the Growers Gauntlet is doing well, doing warm, kicking it fly, having fun this Wednesday night. Thank you for coming in here, guys. Shout out to the top 10 finalists for the Growers Gauntlet. Shout out to Rob and Troy and Dusa and Matt and Chris for coming in here and pulling up. I see you guys in the chat getting rowdy out there, guys. Hello, everyone. Who do we see? I see Research Queen. I see Rasterman. I see 85 Blues Man. I see V Shack. What's going on, man? Shackelford taking home the prizes on the Highly Uncensored the other day, or Highly Educational the other day. Good to see you, man. On a Roll is here. Astro is in the house too, man. Astro, good to see you, brother. Mr. Dadman, what is up, Mr. and Mrs. P? What is up, Mrs. P? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Doing fantastic. Almost like we haven't seen each other all day.
We kind of haven't.
We really haven't, actually. No, I've been down here doing this, and you've been upstairs doing you. It's been a long day.
We had a brief meeting in the middle somewhere, but
It was a pool party, baby. We had a pool party,
until
yeah.
the rain hit.
Yeah, and then some rain hit.
Yeah.
Then some rain hit. Huge shout out to you guys for pulling up. Do me a favor. If you enjoy what you see here and you have a good time, hit that like button, guys. It does a huge thing for me. It does wonders for the channel. It does something for the algorithm. It lets everybody know that we're doing something that they might enjoy. So do me a favor. Hit that like button. If you're not already, hit that subscribe button. But I bet you guys already are subscribed because you got the notification. So thank you guys for that. Huge shout out to my patrons, guys. Yes, right here. Huge shout out to them. Thank you guys so much for being part of the inner circle. We appreciate you guys. If you want to be part of the inner circle, see your name right here and see some behind the scenes content. Lots of videos you won't see anywhere else. Head to patreon.com/pigeons420 and live it up over there, man. Tons of great things. personal grow advice. We show off your gardens over on Twitch every Sunday, twitch.tv/pigeons420. So go and check that out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. We revamped the Patreon, so there might be stuff there. Maybe you were a patron before and you left for whatever reason. There might be something new there that you enjoy. So go and check that out. Guys, great to see you guys. We've got a great show in store for you, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a new presidential candidate for the DNC. We've got people trying to smuggle drugs in their children's suitcases. We've got quite the nudes. We got a conversation with the man himself, Mr. Chad Westport, at the top of the hour as well. So stay tuned for that. We got so much to cover. But before I do, I think it's only fair that we take this opportunity to indulge just slightly and hit a little bit of this chill out OG. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the last show. Oh, no, we got another one. We got 2 more shows before a special episode. 2 more episodes before a special episode. I'm going to be working in overdrive, trying to make sure we got something special coming for you guys in 2 weeks from today. It's going to be a lot of fun. What else do we got on the table? We got tons of things going on the internet of weed. Wow, Mr. Beast, eh? That Avon Chris Tyson, he's in a lot of shit, huh? What's with, it seems like there's a lot of people in a high position of celebratory status that have the thing about talking to kids. I don't know what it is. We covered the Boogie 2988 coverage a couple weeks ago. Turns out he was faking the cancer. Go figure, he's the definition of a piece of shit. Plenty of examples of people that really aren't that great of human beings, but thankfully they're not in our space. So, got my ear to the ground so you don't have to, guys. If there's anything that you would like to discuss, you can head on over to my Twitter, @pigeons420. That's where I pretty much get a lot of my nudes, a lot of my interaction, the day-to-day kind of stuff. So if you would like to participate, go check that out. You can follow me on Instagram as well, @pigeons420. Boom! Right there. And enjoy yourself some quality content. And check in to see what I'm growing on. Some people don't even think I'm growing anymore. And, well, that's a shame. Because I do grow. And I love growing still. So go check that out over on Instagram. Because we do those things. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, what are you toking on this afternoon? I've got a little bit of this chill out OG in here. And it's going to be a doozy. Doozy. What you guys got going on, huh? What you got going on? Cheers, friends. Yes. That feels, oh, so sweet. Good to see everybody in the chat, man. I see some Grand Candy from the Gauntlet. Smoking on some, CLTV smoking on some Mr. Westport. That's fantastic. Sour Devil Kush for Syntax. We got some Red Hot Grapes for Stone Barrington. Stone Barrington laying down the rug down on the floor for us. That's my guy. Chad Westport's in the chat as well. Good to see everybody. And I'm glad you guys are token strong. So, did you guys hear President Biden going to be running for president next year? Or next election? Yep. Found out that the president's going to be stepping down, so he thought he could do the bid. Just kidding. Kamala Harris gets the presidential bid for the DNC. I would like to dive into what that means for the weed people, our industry, the market, and kind of highlight maybe some of, her past comments to see if we can kind of determine the future of cannabis under a new presidency. If you guys are just getting here, I like to talk politics, baby. I like to talk all things nudes, culture, science, health, in our space and beyond, and I love to talk politics. When Trump became president, I said the same things that I'm probably going to say here And we commented when Biden became president in regards to what the future of weed looked like under a new presidency. And again, my statements will reign true here as well. I'm very cynical when it comes to politicians and weed, particularly in America. And therefore, I'm a little bit, say, pessimistic, at least, that we're actually going to see any progress. However, we're going to dive into all of that. Like I said, I like to talk about politics. I don't really like to dive into, you know, the negativity or the hatred. And I want to be very clear that as I sit and I chat about these things, that there's no negativity or hatred in the chat as well. We are all human beings. We can talk politics without getting into a fistfight. And we know this because what brings us together is our plant, our families, our communities, love and embrace. And that will reign supreme no matter what powerful figure tells me on whatever mainstreamed platform. So I like to talk about it because I feel like, you know, as a fellow citizen who only knows what I'm given in terms of information, we should be able to talk about these things. If we were given all the information, we would probably be in a different state in regards to our being, but we're not. We have to deal with the information given and therefore use what we have at our fingertips. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Kamala Harris will be, it's already crazy enough to me that America got a vice president, got a presidential nominee without even a vote. Can you believe that? That they chose the next president without any kind of vote? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's kind of scary, but that's not really the conversation, I guess. The conversation is, if there was going to be a new presidential candidate and or a new presidency, what would that look like for cannabis? What would that look like for the state of weed? As I kind of alluded earlier, I said the same thing when Trump won under election, and I said the same thing as when Biden won his presidential campaign. Been doing this for a minute. You will not see change when it comes to cannabis legalization within America. Unfortunately, this is an issue that speaks to too many people. I feel as if we, as a mass, as a citizenry, are often distracted of the points and matters that matter most, and are distracted by things that are, in my opinion, often irrelevant to my being, my state of being. So why do I think cannabis won't be legalized? Because cannabis has a lot to do with individual thought, has a lot to do with the individual, has a lot to do with creativity, has a lot to do with healing and embrace, answers a lot of questions. And I feel like that's not the conversation that our political spectrum or political arena is going towards. They don't give a shit about you or me. Pick your party. Pick your party. It doesn't matter. These are corporations at this point that are only focused on maximizing profits and minimizing losses. And depending on what those losses are, they might be minimized less or more. So I like to understand it as, these aren't the people that are going to change my everyday life. These are the people that I really shouldn't be giving too much time to. I feel like we lose track of what's important to us because we're distracted by things that don't matter. We miss out on our family's interactions, our kids' little league games, our wives' achievements, our own moments of celebration, because we're too focused on things that we can't change. And we forget that, or I forget, I often, I feel like as a mass, we kind of lose touch with these things. But it starts with the individual. How do you approach the world? And as we start to kind of establish a foundation for ourselves, we can then branch out. The individual satisfied, then we can focus on family and friends. when family and friends and relationships are satisfied, then we can branch out to community. Then we can make sure that the youth, the poverty, the education, the recreation are all taken care of within our own community. When that's taken care of, then we can take care of our country. And then when we take care of our country, then we can start worrying about things that are overseas or outside of our grasp of reality or what have you. But we lose that connection. So will we see a change in cannabis laws under a change in presidency? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If we were going to see change under a current political system, it would have been deregulated, not rescheduled. Do the people at mass want rescheduling? That's not what I'm hearing. And of course, you know, maybe I'm a little biased because I'm in a circle of relevance that pertains to cannabis, but it's like the majority of people don't want the government involved when it comes to the regulation or the criminality of cannabis. They don't want it. Simply give it to the people, give it to the states, let them decide. We don't have that ability. They're not doing that. That would have been the change that we see under the current political regime, if you will, the political party, political government, the government. So there won't be a change. It's unfortunate, but it won't be change. How do you get change? By making change on a personal level, working to a family level, raising kids that are aware and educated about this plant, its processes, its properties, its abilities. Then we can change our communities, our neighbors' opinions and outlooks and perspectives of the plant. And then from there, we can change our country's perspective and outlook. But until then, we're just going to be played for sheep. So I've got a clip here of Kamala in the presidential run when it was the presidential debate in 2019, I believe. Let's play that one.
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting Black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
Have you ever smoked?
I have.
Okay. Like in
And
college,
I inhale. I did inhale.
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
And the question is, well, then if you did smoke, then why is it such a big deal then? Why are we still in a position that we are right now, despite your authority and position of power? And that's because of external influences. Cannabis doesn't have massive lobbyists. We don't have groups that can influence governments. We don't have the ability to line politicians' pockets in the way that tobacco, alcohol, pharmacy, all have a way of doing. We are forever going to be at the whims of capitalism, of shell of a system that really is, I guess, if you can argue that. But it's frustrating, very frustrating to me that a politician can laugh when asked if they've smoked this plant while also putting people away for the same thing. How does this happen? This is the political system we have. It seems like we're a bit lost. And this is why I have this level of cynicism that persists when it comes to a presidential candidate promising anything in regards to our plant. I don't see it. I don't believe in it. But I do believe that you should participate in your local politics. You should vote. You should participate because, as I said, we gotta start small and work big. Start small and work big. As with any story I cover here, I really, really want your opinion. I understand that sometimes it can be a little difficult to share your opinion, particularly in an online space. But I really want you to know that this chat and this area is a, lack of a better word, is a safe space. I hate to say that, okay? Because that's not where I'm trying to aim with this. But it's a safe space because you can voice your opinion because we're all bloody adults here, okay? We've been trampled on. We all work hard. We slave away. I don't want to use the word slave away. We work really hard, and we understand that the conversation with another person online or someone that doesn't want to have their opinion changed isn't worth it, right? But I do want you to voice your opinion for those that are willing to listen to you. And I am that person. I am willing to listen. I do want to hear what you have to say because it's important to me, because I live in a little box called Manitoba, Canada, which is in the middle of nowhere in the prairies. And, you know, unfortunately, I'm at my own devices when it comes to trying to branch out with information. So it's very important to me that we can have a conversation here. And with that conversation comes a story that I actually forgot to pull up here. I would love to cover the Florida story. And I want to hear from you. Sorry, with this story, with any story, I want to hear from you. You can at me at Pigeons420 over on Twitter or X. DeSantis is kind of all over the place in regards to where he's standing with cannabis in Florida. Very frustrating. If you guys recall, I actually covered the story, or I covered the story. I didn't report it, but I covered it. I didn't break it. That's the way to say. That Florida, there was going to be the idea that the vote for cannabis was going to be on a ballot, on the November ballot. Before you even got to the vote in November to cast your ballot, DeSantis was already telling you how he was going to regulate and essentially criminalize cannabis and make it more difficult for the legal industry to take off. Well, he's kind of doubling down on that. It seems like he's going on just an anti-cannabis rant, if you will. He went on a speech or on a campaign, and he was quoted multiple times, having a discussion in regards to our plant. Who's the story from? Is it MSNBC, the article you have? News for Jax. I just want the story too. Because I didn't pull this one up. Boom. But play the very first clip.
It is basically an attempt by a Canadian marijuana company to use the Florida Constitution to give them an ability to have almost a monopoly on selling marijuana, which is just not the way policy should be done.
The company that he is referring to is TruLeave. It is actually a Florida-based company. Its headquarters are in Florida, but it is on the Canadian Stock Exchange. It trades on the Canadian Stock Exchange and has the main facility in British Columbia, in Canada. And so it's kind of hit or miss. This news, Jax ended up doing a fact-checking report on his statements, and that's how I got the information in regards to the headquarters being in Florida. The next clip.
But it also basically creates this really broad right to possess and smoke up to, I don't know, some law enforcement have told me 3 ounces, how many joints that is. Some say 40, some say 80, but bottom line.
But it's a lot of weed.
3 ounces.
It's 3 ounces. He's actually right. He doesn't really, it's clear he hasn't done weed in a long time.
3 ounces and 40 joints.
He hasn't done weed in a long time. He's actually right. It's 3 ounces. You'd be able to possess 3 ounces, which is like 80 joints, I guess, if they're small enough. So, yeah, in Florida, if you go and vote in November on the ballot, you could be legalizing up to 3 ounces of use. Next one.
Well, you know, I don't really like it, but I'll just tell people you can't do it in my restaurant or in my hotel. I don't think it's going to be that simple. I think this is written so broadly with no limitations that people are going to assert the right to be able to do this. regardless of what a private
private business is going to say. Essentially, in the legislation, it specifically states that private businesses have the right to turn somebody away if they are going to, to consume cannabis on their property. They have the right to turn people away. So again, just be very careful who you're listening to when it comes to the source of information where you're getting your weed, because he continues.
In Colorado, they have the biggest black market they've ever had. California has a big black market, and so it's actually led to way more drugs. It's led to more dangerous
drugs. He's actually right. The black market is thriving in both California and Colorado. Why? Because the regulation on the legal industry is piss poor. It's over-regulated, it's understimulated, and the product that's coming out of it is overtouched, it's overregulated, it's piss poor. It's horrible product. You can still go to your homie, get better weed from your guy in a sandwich bag than you can from most local dispensaries. It is unfortunate, but that's not because weed has become legal. That's because of the way it's been handled on the process of legalization. This is a government issue. Too many hands in the pot. That's the issue. Give the weed to the people. It's a very, very simple concept. Keep it out of the hands of children. Educate the people that are using it. And I think you should be fine. And what do we mean by educate? Well, we should be telling people, you should keep it out of the reach of children. If gummies, they should be up or whatever, just labeled properly, like simple things. But instead, we get dealt with these ridiculous laws that you can only have so many plants. They have to have in some cases have to have only so much potency, can only have so many milligrams it's just ridiculous, man. Of course the black market is thriving. It's because the government hasn't figured out how to legalize it yet. That's the problem. People say it's, I believe, someone I'm a huge fan of is Jodie Emery. She says it's not legalization, it's prohibition 2.0. And I know that's a little drastic to think, but the reality is that it's legalization for who? Not for all. It depends on who you are. That's why Manitobans couldn't grow, Quebecers can't grow, because why? They're in different parts of the country. It's ridiculous, but that's what happens when government gets involved in really just about anything, because they can't grow weed. Anyways, I digress. But that's my opinion. That's the story. I want to hear from you, regardless of what your opinion is, because your opinion is important to me, and I want to hear from you. So if I don't by any chance catch you in the chat, let me know via Twitter at Pigeons420 or X, sorry, and or Instagram. The Instagram is more or less so you can check out that I still grow plants. It's like video proof. Maybe it's AI, but I'll let you figure it out. But if you want to have a conversation with me, open and honest and in public, do it over on X. I think it's a great spot for conversation. So if you agree, if you disagree, I want to hear from you because it's important. Next story I have is one that let's just say that I don't have a lot of respect for. Okay, I don't have a lot of respect for this because this shit kind of pisses me off. And however, you could be argued that this is what the legal government has forced us to do as the average citizen. Coming out of the BBC, a man who hid 4.8 million pounds and British pounds, $1 million, British pounds, of drugs in children's luggage, jailed. Okay? What a headline. What a headline. Now, of course, what kind of drugs? 4.8 million pounds, British pounds. My goodness, that's a lot, mate. What happened? Well, they go on. Fernando Fuster, 51, from Zaragoza in Spain, attempted to import close to 160 kilograms of the drug, which they don't actually state until later on. It's weed.
They say it up one line.
Oh, cannabis hidden in... I don't read those lines because it's always like a summary. They're not supposed to rely on those for context.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. No, I'm not blaming you. They should be able to put context. Anyways, 160 kilograms of weed from Los Angeles to Manchester Airport. He was stopped at the UK border by Border Force officers on May 1st in what the National Crime Agency described as one of the largest seizures of its kind. I'm in a lot of trouble, he says. Fuster had stuffed the suitcases with 278 separate packages of weed before his flight left the United States, traveling via London Heathrow. 3 of the bags were checked in under the names of his 3 children, who were traveling with him. When he was arrested by the NCA officers at Manchester, he told the friend he told them a friend had given him the suitcases, adding, "I'm in a lot of trouble." The cannabis had an estimated street value of 4.8 million British pounds, which works out to a real street value of approximately $3,500. Sorry, I made that last bit up because the press and the police always exaggerate how much weed is in their fines. This is frustrating to me on a couple levels, mainly because, as a parent myself, who may or may not wish to be able to bring weed across the border, I would never, in my right mind, put it in either my wife's or my children's luggage. Definitely not my children's. Using your children as a scapegoat is a fucking cowardly move. There's no way to put it. I think that's weak, that's sick, it's sad, and obviously, whether they get caught or not, you're responsible for it, man. That's your kids with weed, and why would you make them fall for it? But what frustrates me more is that it's weed, and this is the black market to which we speak, which only thrives because of the piss-poor legislation that's been presented by the politicians over the course of the last 100 years. Absolutely horrifying that a father would put his children and his family at this kind of risk for weed, man. Yeah. You ever suck dick for weed, man? I haven't. So that's the story, ladies and gentlemen. I want your opinion. Mrs. P, I'm going to need a beer.
Okay.
Gonna need my beer. That sucks, man. Sucks putting children on the bus like that. I guess if someone's got to be thrown under the bus, though.
It always amazes me that, like...
Pull out. Oh. Sorry.
Thanks.
Threw it in your face.
Always amazes me that they use, like, major airports.
Yeah, she says it always amazes them that they use major airports. But the reality is that's probably what you need to use to get from Europe to,
For sure, but go find, like, small, off-the-grid airports that probably aren't going to check as thoroughly.
I don't think off-the-grid airports fly across the ocean, though. That's what I'm saying. Is like you need an international airport,
I guess.
right?
But LAX and Manchester, like, you're going to get busted.
I would imagine there's only a few. How many international airports are in America?
Well,
Probably a lot. Probably 52
a heck of a
at
lot
least.
more than we have in Canada.
Is there one international airport in each state? Probably not. There's probably a couple.
I don't
Because a
know.
lot of states have big cities.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's going to be a mystery until someone tells us. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is the nudes. No, what do we got? What's the next one again?
The CNN?
What?
Pregnant?
Oh, the other one. Oh, yeah. Well, this one, I wanted to cover this one because of course I got an opinion about it because I'm a man and this is a story about pregnancy and weed. So I feel it's very, very appropriate that I speak up about it. So, yeah, you're right. One more story. Serious maternal complications linked with the use of cannabis before and early in pregnancy, study finds. This is out of CNN, and it's about a 6-minute read, but I'm going to do it in 2. More and more people are using cannabis during and in early pregnancy to ease nausea, pain, stress, and help with sleep. In fact, research found that use has more than doubled in the last 2 decades. I'm sure legalization had a lot to do with that. The use in pregnancy has been linked to such adverse outcomes for the baby as low birth weight, preterm birth, and higher admission rates to neonatal intensive care units. What about the potential danger to the mother if she uses before or during early pregnancy? According to a new study, the news there is alarming as well. There's an increased risk of serious, potentially life-threatening maternal complications such as gestational hypertension and preeclampsia. Yep. Which are both disorders of high blood pressure. And here I thought they were sea serpents from The Little Mermaid. People who used marijuana in early pregnancy also had a 19% greater risk of placental abruption. Yep. Young Wolf said, which I'm assuming was the researcher. The lead study author. In placental abruption, the organ that provides oxygen and nutrients to the fetus, called the placenta, suddenly detaches from the side of the uterus, thus endangering the health of the mother and developing baby. A detached So, research suggests, I'll finish here, research suggests that pregnant people are bombarded with inaccurate messages from social media, cannabis retailers, and peers suggesting that cannabis use during pregnancy is safe. Our study provides timely and important data that adds to the growing body of evidence indicating that cannabis use during pregnancy is not safe. So I encourage you, men and women, to read up on this. I'm only one man, and I'm certainly not a doctor. I love Power Rangers, so I got a little bit excited with some of those names. However, I think it's important that we cover all aspects of our plant. And I also am one of those people that, I was a firm believer that the consumption, not necessarily a firm believer, but it's like, it's nice to see the evidence come out that maybe there's a time and a place. And I want everyone and all of our children to have the best foot forward when it comes to life. And if that means that you need to find other ways to consume, because I'm sure if I had read a little bit more, it might tell me in ways in which they consumed. I'm assuming that they are referring primarily to those that smoked and or vaped the product. I'm curious if when using edibles, how that would, say, relate and how that would apply to the equation as well. Does it have the same impact? Is it better? Is it worse? I want to know. More science is always needed, and this is why I feel like more than ever we've needed legalization so that we can get the right answers. And I really want people to be paying attention to their bodies and understanding that there's a time and a place when it comes to this plant. And be safe, okay? Be safe. Be safe. That's what's important. We're grown adults. We can make our own decisions, but I think it's important that we have as much information as possible when we make those decisions. Okay? That's the nudes. That's my opinion. Reach out to me at Pigeons420 over on Twitter and or X if you want to have a conversation. If there's a story that's important to you that you feel like I should be covering, shout out to Chaotic for giving me a story. I wish I could fit all the stories in. Shout out to everyone that does send me stories. If often I don't get to a story, I'll cover it the following week. But I'll tell you right now, the world of cannabis is an amazing place. I want you guys to look inward and take a look at yourself and just say, wow, you're a part of it. You're a part of it. And it's forever evolving. It's an amazing space to be a part of. And the people are even better. So don't hesitate to break out, get involved in the community in any way possible. And if there's something that you want to talk about or discuss or even share, if there's a creator, if there's somebody out there doing their thing, I want to hear about it, man. I want to hear about it and I want to share it. So that's the nudes. We'll run that nudes intro if you wouldn't mind. That's the news. Whew, just thought I'd play that out. Ladies and gentlemen, let's tokey, let's smoky, let's have ourselves a little bit of herb here. A little bit of herb, I think it's only fair. Because we've got ourselves some fine toke and we've got a great conversation in store in just a few minutes. Just a few minutes, we're going to be talking to the man himself, Mr. Chad Westport. and I cannot wait to sit down and have a convo with him. So if there is anything that you guys would like to have a conversation with him, he is a man of many projects and audiences. If there's a question, comment, or a concern you'd like to bring up his way, please put it in the chat, and I might just be able to see it. I do read the chat, so I know I've been accused of pre-recording these, and so what if I did? But no, we are live. We are live. We do these lives. Some portions might be pre-recorded, but
You think with all of my hiccups that people would understand that
yeah,
it's definitely live.
Yeah, Mrs. P with all her hiccups, she says, you guys gotta know it's live. Ryan, good to see you, man. On a roll, good to see you. The guapo, good to see you, friend. Curly Green, hello. Hello. MW420, I see you. Cheers, friends. This one's for you. Mansplainer. Cheers, friends. Chad Westport for VP. Perfect. Just a wonderful hoop. Guys, we got just enough time before he gets here, before he rolls in, for a little bit of Meme
the Weed.
Cue intro.
I just did.
Did you? That's funny. Excuse me. I can't hear that one actually, so I was like,
Either.
so if you right-click audio, so, ladies and gentlemen, I like to surf the internet. I like to check things out. I like to see weed at its finest. And I like to just explain to myself what on earth is going on in the world of weed. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit so I might be able to get live. Over on my X account, I've memed some weed. There's some quality pictures or videos out there that I want to share with you. And so, with that being said, I want you to check out this one. Isn't that sweet? Can you kind of explain to the people what we have here, Mrs. P?
If anyone remembers their dare from high school, as I'm sure we all do, I have the dare lion saying, "I'm ashamed of every single one of you."
So, how many people did dare? How many recognize the bear from Dare?
It's a lion.
The lion. Was it a lion?
It's a lion. I thought it was a bear.
Oh.
But this one has
I was
a lion.
deceived. Greatly deceived. Interesting. He's ashamed of all of us.
Yeah.
Can you relate to that? Can you relate to that? I personally love this one because how many people remember that someone telling you that you should tell the cops if your parents had weed in the house?
Yeah.
Hi, kids. Do your mom and dad smoke this? Well, if they do, we're going to come for them. We're going to destroy your home. We're going to throw you guys out on the street and take your parents to jail. They left that part out.
They did.
They did. They did. Oh, God. So what's the next one? What's the next one we have?
This one is man with Parkinson's tries.
Oh, this one.
cannabis
Okay, so
for the first time.
can you put this one on the TV?
For you or for them?
Yeah, for them. It's for us.
Yeah, for them.
This one is an older clip, but I really wanted to play it for you guys because this kind of shows the healing powers that cannabis has. I know you guys have seen this clip before. If you haven't seen it, this individual has Parkinson's disease, and he struggles to control himself, to control himself. And are you playing it?
No.
Oh, play it.
I'm waiting for you.
No, play it. Turn it down so they can hear me over it. But this is incredible to me that within just moments,
the best way to take it is put
this man's going to heal. Sorry, you can turn it up.
and rub it in your cheek. Don't do too much. You're going to be asleep all afternoon. You know what you should do? No. Don't try to communicate. Just relax. See what happens.
We know from animal experiments that the endogenous cannabinoid system is very important in regulating motor activity, that very type of activity that is impaired in Parkinson's disease. From animal experiments, we also know that boosting certain branches of the endocannabinoid system is helpful in relieving symptoms of Parkinson's. Finally, from anecdotal information, we know that certain patients who smoke marijuana experience relief of their symptoms.
I think you're calmed down. So quickly. Isn't that amazing?
He used just a single drop.
Is that not crazy?
And his
That's
hands
incredible.
afterwards were rock steady. And the dyskinesia left.
The wife's coming back. It works most of the time. In fact, it's. Did you guys eat lunch?
You guys eat lunch?
1 a.m. Actually,
A person like me could really use marijuana. It makes me pretty angry that I can't get it in my home state.
Isn't that remarkable? I think that's absolutely beautiful.
That's incredible.
And I think it's an atrocity that platforms like this one, like YouTube, continue to demonize cannabis as a medication. That's very frustrating to me. I had a video that was titled "Man Cures Cancer with Weed." That's what the title was, and it was deleted by YouTube. And it was a video in reference to Rick Simpson using cannabis oil to get rid of skin cancer that he had on his hand and passing it free to others to do the same thing. And they deleted that video because it was medical misinformation. And the biggest criticism people said was, well, the title, "Man Cures Weed with Cannabis." It's inaccurate. I just think, how would you title that? Like, sure, you could title it different, but there's nothing wrong with that title. He is curing cancer. And so I just thought, yeah, sure, maybe it's a little encompassing, but so is life. I don't know. And so, needless to say, it's like I think it's frustrating when modes or methods of health, methods of medication like this aren't considered in modern times. So that's wild. Absolutely wild.
I don't know how they can argue that's not working. Like, that's...
No, it's working. It's working.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I one can only hope it's a real video. I could be led to believe that it's a fake video, but I don't think it is.
I don't think it is.
So, yeah. I'd be curious if someone came out and was like, no, it's fake video. I'd be like, oh, shit.
I'd be a little heartbroken.
I'd be pretty heartbroken, too. I'd be pretty heartbroken. What's the next one? What's the next one we got real quick?
No, you were doing something else on that screen. Never mind.
Oh, is that boobs?
No.
Thank gosh.
You were editing videos and stuff.
Oh, okay. Whew. I don't have a Pornhub account.
I like this one. I looked at it earlier.
Who has accounts?
When you get to the hotel and you realize you forgot papers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can you relate?
So you make a pipe out of a Cliff Bar.
Can you guys relate? What's the craziest thing that you've made to smoke out of? For me, there's so many things. I carved a pipe out of a rubber eraser, smoked out of that. And then on a school field trip once, I made a pen. I took a pen apart, and I would just put the weed in the end of the pen and just smoke it right through the pen, plastic and all. Didn't care. What's the craziest thing you've ever toked out of? Or even made to toke out of? I've seen some pretty crazy things. Toked.
I follow a girl on Instagram, and that's like...
She made something sweet?
What she does.
Yeah.
Is she makes them...
It's pretty sweet. Yeah, there's some pretty sweet things to make it out of. I've seen some sweet devices.
She's done like a hot dog, corn on the cob, pumpkin.
Oh, yeah. You're probably talking about Jessie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jess. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to her. Guys, I think it is almost time, ladies and gentlemen.
I have so many more memes.
I think it's almost time. We've hit the 10 o'clock hour, ladies and gentlemen. We got the man himself waiting for us. So, without further ado, I want to take this moment. We're gonna hit the intro. We're gonna come back with the man himself, Mr. Chad Westport, is in the house. So, guys, without further ado, let's hit the intro so we can party on.
Come on and lift your glass. You've won your own free pass to be our guest. If you're stressed, it's fine dining we suggest. Be our guest, be our guest, be our guest.
Camera on, big guy. There we go.
There we go.
Hey, my man, making Mrs. P just ping, 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 working it, ping, ping, ping. Can you hear me okay over there?
Yep, I got you. Got you loud and clear. How about me?
That's fantastic. I got you. I got you loud and clear, buddy. How you been? How you doing tonight?
Excellent, man. We did our monthly grocery shopping today, and I took a walk on the beach.
Nice.
Oh,
hard to beat that.
Good for you, man. Yeah, good for you. You're right on the beach, or close to?
Yep, a half mile from the waves. So every day we do our little 2-mile loop and walk on the beach, walk by the lighthouse. We enjoy ourselves.
Bro, you have to, man. With that kind of view? Oh, good for you. I'm glad you take the time to soak something like that in. Good for you. Mr. Chad Westport in the house with me here tonight. Guys, welcome to Chad. For the one person in the chat who doesn't know who you are, Chad, the man of many projects. Who are you and what do you do?
Thanks for having me, but Chad Westport, I like to educate people about growing the sea stuff at home because I feel it's a pretty darn important plant, and I love to see people make their own medicine, clean medicine, and I help do that through articles, I help do that through videos, answer questions. I love it. Watch shows like this, support the community. That's another huge part of it.
You're absolutely right.
Support, man. Good community.
You're absolutely right, man. Chad, I see you not only in this chat, I've seen you in the Gauntlet chat, I see you in the AC Infinity chat, I see you in Astros chat, I see you everywhere, man. Everywhere. And like hats off to you, man, because that is a lot of work. There are a lot of projects going on right now and people doing some crazy things and you're there. You've been on a ton of podcasts lately too.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, there's so many different things that you can talk about. Just growing, breeding, philosophy in general, genetics, a lot of different ways to go with that. Organic growing too. There's one thing I love about this plant and, music, which I've always been involved with. There's always something new to learn. And once you think you know it all, that's when you're, wrong because there's always something new to learn. My teacher, audio engineering teacher, he said, you need to learn the rules before you can break the rules. And that applies to him.
He was so right. You're so right.
And sometimes you just got to know how to stress the plant or, it on the reel so it gets that whoa, 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 whoa sound. And you're like, wait a minute, did I just invent flange? That's how it happens.
Man, you're 100% right. Rob and I used to have a Grand Theft Auto 5 role-playing server. And one of the things that I would always say to new people was, you can get so much information from the rules. Like if you read them and you understand them, it's amazing how many like kind of cheat codes are in there that you can use to your advantage. So you're right. As soon as you know the rules, you can break the rules. So that's really cool. And you can totally apply that to weed too, man. Because once you know that you can like snap that top off, half off, and it can be just hanging there, dwindling to the, you can still tape it on, and it's going to be fine. I'm sure you've had that happen now.
Just the other day, quite literally. Just doing a little bending on the clones, and it was very hydrated, so it was a little crisp, and instead of squishing, it went snap. I'm like, at least a quarter of it's still hanging on. It'll grow back.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I remember I was on your show. Was it last year? I think it was last year, actually, if I'm not mistaken. And Man, we had the conversation about was it the just one thing?
Yeah, yeah, because you've been a guest a couple of times, but I do remember just one thing specifically. Yeah, we sat down and talked about just
That
one thing all new growers should know.
Yes. Okay. My memory is kind of. I'm pretty sure we met for that one just thing separate, right? It was just like 10, 15 minutes or whatever, and then that was it. And then we met and then we did an interview separately. Correct?
Correct. Yeah.
See?
Yeah, definitely. And if I remember correctly, too, it was mindset, and I almost want to say specifically like positivity. But I believe that we talked a lot about mindset.
Yep.
Was your just one thing?
Yep. That's 100% it, man. Because I was gonna say if I had to pick just one thing now, it would 100% still be the same thing. Mindset, staying positive, understand that you're gonna go through a little bit of struggle, but you got to come through the other side. Yeah, that would still be my just one thing. Yeah. What's your just one thing? I don't think I ever asked you. I'm sure you said it.
That's a really good one. You know, I would really agree with you as mindset and patience, because sometimes people want to reach the finish line before the plant is even ready to get there. And sometimes people don't nail it on their first run or their second run, but each time if you can take away a little bit of victories from that, that's good because that's forward progress. You know, there's that cheesy saying that I love to say because I truly believe it. It's like if you learn, you don't really lose. So there's a lot of positive mindset that you need, and again, realize that this plant grows slow, so don't expect overnight results.
Yeah, you're 100%
Sorry,
right.
that was kind of a long ramble there. That was a long ramble.
That's fair. No, that's fair. You know what? You can apply the exact same thing to life, right? Where it's like, it's all about the long run. It's all about where you're going, not necessarily. Well, you know, it's not necessarily where you're going. It's about where you're at too, right? And understanding that each moment has things to learn from and to gather and to enjoy and experience. What do you do for like free time, like downtime, patience, like Zen?
And you know, a lot of my Zen time is really just gardening. Just looking at the plants, observing the plants, trying to take care of them. And that extends to things outside of the house as well. You know, I've got veggies, I've got trees, just watching that kind of life bloom. Sometimes, you know, you can train trees in certain ways. I'm playing with just a little pine outside. It's a small seedling. It's fun to form things, you know, something that maybe 10 years down the road will actually be something. So I do. I love my plants. I love my gardening, but I do a lot of beach time. I live right near the beach, so I try to get out and walk every day. You know, I wish I could say I had like a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, but this is really go to sleep thinking about it, wake up thinking about it, usually stay busy. So I've learned to make my time in life because we do need those little breaks.
Of
I'll
course.
work for a couple, 3 hours, then I'm going to go for a walk, clear my head with some nature. So, yeah, nature is probably the best answer there. That's what I like to do with my free time in all different.
Yeah. You're totally a free-spirited dude, man, and that's where I think you and I connect a lot. I totally agree with you, bro. Nature is number one. I feel like we often get, I'm not gonna say we, I feel like I often get disconnected from just the fundamentals, the basics, just life, wilderness, hearing the birds chirp, just smelling the roses, feeling like smelling a fresh cut lawn and just putting a little gravel in my travel. It's just like, oh, sometimes I don't soak that up enough. And that's also my place of Zen. I just like to get outside, let the nature take its course because we are surrounded by so much technology and information and nonsense, and I don't feel like 90% of it really matters. Yet here we are focused on that 90%, right? So I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said nature. And of course you would, being so close to the ocean.
That's only something that came with age, though. Like I'm a straight up like city kid, and for the longest time, I lived in downtown Seattle. I lived in San Francisco, Chicago, Detroit, like straight up city kid. Didn't appreciate it until later in life, slower pace, kind of like you said. I'm realizing what's kind of a little bit more important to me. But it's funny how sometimes, like I said, it's 24/7. You're talking about the walk out in nature, and you're smelling the pine trees. I'm like, I'm smelling some of the forest floor. I'm all
Oh,
mercy, like it
yeah,
never stops. I'm like in the terpene game out there.
yeah, yeah. I was listening to a World War II veteran speak just the other day, and he spoke of a way about just loving his country and kissing the ground when he got home after serving overseas. And it just made me realize, like, and this was just the other day, it just made me realize that we have so much and we take it, I mean, I just want to say because I know not everybody does this, but it's like I take it all for granted sometimes. And I just don't appreciate the ground that I walk on. And you don't need, I don't need all these things and all these, and yet here we are surrounded by all these things, right? Um, I, I'll admit I'm kind of materialistic. Do you have like a materialistic being?
I'm trying to cut that out, but also at the same time, I will buy the nice version instead of the bad version twice now.
That's fair. Yep, that's fair. That's fair. At least you know what you're getting, right?
Yeah, for the most part, because consumerism, gosh, it's but my background is kind of weird. Like I grew up like the three things basically I've done in life in order is like skateboarding, music, and cannabis. Now all three of them have been there the entire time, but my life has been focused on one or the other throughout the course. And for like from my teens all the way through my 30s, I never had to like pay for like clothes or get like things because I was always I'm a freaking human billboard. So that's why pretty much most of the shirts I wear are just blank shirts because I'm like so over that. But as far as like consumerism, I kind of threw that like grew to resent it because after time I figured out I'm just a kind of a billboard for a lot of these companies.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
You,
sorry. I
yeah,
got started on that rant and I won't fully go down that road, but yeah, I try to cut the consumerism to a minimal.
good, good. Yeah, I'm trying to do
Yeah,
the I'm trying to do the exact same thing. I do struggle with it. I am attached to like some of the worst brands too. Like it's horrible. Like I like Nike and their exploitation of women and children overseas is well documented. I like I shouldn't say love, but I like Apple. And Apple has its own friggin' issues, and it's just like, oh.
yeah.
So, Chad
I'm
Westport,
with you.
you're gonna come out with a line of clothes and a phone soon, right?
Yes, yes. I'm coming out with a line of clothes, 100% cotton, and it's going to be dumb phones. It's going to be flip phones. I'm going to bring you guys back. You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to be able
Flip
to look up
phones,
at the
bro.
clouds, at the skies in the
I'm
sky.
in. I'm in for flip phones, G.
Yeah.
I'm in for flip phones, bro. I literally told myself I'm actually gonna be shopping. Like if it if it made sense to buy another phone, which it totally doesn't, I 100% next phone going to flip phone, going to flip phone, and not a smart flip phone, but just a regular flip phone. I don't want Instagram on my phone. I don't want Twitter on my phone. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing. I want to flip it open and maybe play Snake. But other than that, nothing. Could you handle that?
Played a little snakes game when you're bored on the phone. I've seriously thought of that, but I am the type of person who needs directions sometimes. So that's the one reason why I haven't gone back to it is the ability to like map quest or like Google nearest thing. That's it.
Yes. But I feel like even then it's like I got Google in the car or Maps, Google whatever it is. I got Maps in the car. I got the computer for most things. I realized real quick too, like I also wear this smartwatch. Never gonna own a smartwatch again. Never. Because it's too much information. It's too much information on my wrist. I don't want phone calls on there. I don't want text messages on there. You know, it's like maybe every now and again, but I don't get those. I get weather updates, I get alerts, I get all these other things, and I'm like, no, I'm trying to run away from those things. And I will never own a smartwatch again. I will 100% have an analog. Is that what it's called? Analog. I'm gonna have an analog watch. What do you have? What kind of watch do you have on, Mr. Chad Westport?
I don't even wear a watch.
Oh,
Heck
that's
yeah.
fair. That's
So
fair.
I tried that back in the
It's
day. I got
consistent.
like a really fancy watch. Yeah, and I thought I was like fly and stuff, and I was cool. And then I went out skateboarding, and I fell once, and it like smashed the entire face. I'm like, that's why I don't wear watches. Okay, so
Yep.
yeah, no watch.
Yep. Smart, bro. Okay. 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 I break everything I have too. Okay. So I get that. That's part of the reason that I'm a hardworking man though, and I can break my toys. That's the first thing. As Mrs. P's over there, like, you do break everything. But yeah, I definitely want to change it up for a flip phone. But you're a skateboarder, bro, and that's another thing that we can relate on. Because you don't know me, I'm gonna continue and tell you, bro, I'm an amazing skateboarder, bro. And I skateboarded a ton as a kid, and it was a ton of fun. I made a lot of friends through skateboarding. Skateboarding is awesome, bro. You still skateboard?
Yeah, yeah. I got a couple sitting right next to me. I've been waiting for the town where I moved to build a skate park, and they should be breaking ground soon. It's like 8 years in the making. So I'm gonna be a very happy dude. I can surf here, which is great, but I moved away from the mountains where I snowboarded all the time to be here. I'd rather snowboard than surf, but give me a skate park, I'll be a happy man.
Oh. See, as a legendary skateboarder myself, I can't pull up a skateboard just right beside me. What do you know? It's all crumbling right here. No, I was a horrible skateboarder, bro. I love skateboarding, and that's what I love about skateboarding is if you just love skateboarding, you don't have to be good. It's just the freedom of just putting foot to board and foot to concrete. That's what it's really all about, and getting outside and all that stuff. I sucked. I was really good at having like the really cool shoes and like a really nice board. And I like when I held it, man, I looked like a boss, bro. I looked like a boss. I was a poser by
Did you
definition.
spin it? Did you spin it while you stood there? Just like do that little
In the
spin
palm?
shit?
Yeah, yeah. No, I wasn't that bad. But no, I enjoyed skateboarding. My buddy, rest in peace, my buddy Corey. He used to ollie over like picnic tables, and he would always get all the girls. And you know, I was right beside him though, because I was good looking and I could run fast. I was a fast runner. That's what I had. That's what I had. I'm glad to hear you're still skateboarding, man. I'm glad to hear you're still skateboarding because getting outside is awesome for activity, staying healthy, staying active, and hearing that you're active is consistent with your looks. You look fantastic. So good for you. You have so many projects on the go right now. So I had to get an inside scoop of what Chad does on the side to keep the hustle going. You got a ton of project going. You started up a website, I believe, earlier this last month? This month?
Yeah. I did, man, and that was a big monkey off my back because that is I've had the domain for 3 years before I actually got something done because I went with one way and it was a much harder than I went with what I knew this time. So I got it done in a month. It is now up, chadwestport.com.
Let's
to have that done.
go.
So, yeah.
And go ahead. What is it?
That was the big one.
Like what is it?
That was the big one. So yeah, so basically it's there's only 3 tabs on there. So you get there, it kind of shows the work tab. You can find the Twin Peaks, kind of the strain catalog. You can find the different companies I've written for, ILGM,
Yep.
Sensi Seeds, Skunk Magazine, Pot for Pot. Let's see, what else do I got there? Oh, links to videos, got discount codes, ask me a question, and a link to the dope history theory. That's all there. And if you hop over to the info tab, that's really where you find the active links. So if you want to read some articles that I wrote for any one of those companies, just go to the info tab, click their link, and boom, takes you to my author page. And then of course there's a store too. That's where you find some good stuff. And I'm kind of working hard on like curating some memorabilia. Like I'm able to find some like I found some outdoor grow calendars from 1979 the other day,
What?
and just like random weird collectibles that you're not finding elsewhere. So yeah, I'm trying to throw some of that stuff up there for anybody who likes that stuff. Old bean catalogs too. I'm a collector, and I know there's other collectors out there, so I'm just tossing stuff up, figuring somebody else might like it too.
Man, that's brilliant. That's brilliant, bro. Okay. I'm kind of intrigued here in regards to the old school memorabilia. Where did you find that?
This was on a publisher website that is like a clearinghouse. It was their dead stock. It somehow is probably sitting in a storage facility for years. I ordered as many as I could. There were only two left. I had gone there to actually order a book from this artist, Chris Dyer. He's an amazing artist. But I always like to look around. So, I typed that keyword into their search bar and they came up with a couple things. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I'll take as many as I can get. I'd love to share those. And I'm actually older than that calendar. So I know there's somebody else, like, if I had a proper, like, grow calendar for the year I was born, I would buy it.
That's too funny. You are 100% right. Yes. If I had one for my year, yes. Man, that's too cool, bro. To be able to find that kind of stuff and then to be able to share it, man. That's wicked. Good for you. Good for you, man. Having that outlet for a website, I get it. A huge shout out to Rob, because I honestly don't do anything on my website. He's a website wizard, and won't tell you it, but he actually practices website jujitsu on the side. He's like a Harry Potter creature. Yeah, and having that outlet, having a place where people can go, having we are very expendable, I feel like, in this kind of space when we're making content. So making content can't be where you put all your eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, definitely diversification is key. And like I've, been lucky enough to link up with some of these writing jobs that really kind of keep everything afloat. And a lot of people had always asked about, where do you get genetics or my genetics? And I would have to refer them to a bank. And bank standard practice is 50% is theirs regardless. And I do things at like $2 a bean. So that divide that in half, I was happy to get my website up so I can continue to do it at that pace.
That's very
which is
smart.
another big deal.
And so these are your genetics?
Yep. Yeah, like I'm not doing anybody else's stuff on there. I just want it to be an outlet for my stuff.
Of course.
It's usually small run, but yeah, just I want to get more people growing and making, the knowledge out there, making good genetics accessible to people. That's really important because there's a lot of very expensive exotic genetics out there, but that stuff's above my pay grade. And if somebody is just getting started with something that is really going to knock their socks off or really hit the effects that they need, hit the ground running basically, I'd love to support that because that person's going to keep doing it and they're going to encourage the next person, and that's ultimately how we win.
Good for you. 100%. Your pricing makes perfect sense. We've had the discussion about pricing many times, and the price of beans / genetics. I like to use the word genetics now. I've kind of like realized that seems to be an algorithmic approved word. So feel free to run with that one, bro.
Okay.
I like to.
I will.
I like to. I like to think that genetics are way too overpriced. I guess, okay, for the sake of this conversation, the term genetics does not work, actually. As I start to say it, it doesn't work. But the beans are overpriced. They're simply overpriced. The idea that over $10, you know, like, oh, it is becoming a standard of practice is very frustrating. Very frustrating because, as you said, less people are going to be growing because the price. Why simply can't you can't get into you can't get into gardening at these prices because genetics are becoming the most expensive part of the garden. And maybe it should be, but not at beans at $30 a bean plus.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's also what people are willing to pay sometimes, unfortunately. It's there's you know there's all sorts of stages of the green rush, and I'm just gonna call them corn kernels. We'll just say kernels for now.
I
But
like that. Yep.
kernels, they're they're really catching on again with the culture of what we do. The social media that we do, having something to like put forward is kind of like a status symbol. And so there's a lot of people aspiring to certain levels, and you can get there sometimes not even necessarily being a good grower, but if you have the right kernels, then you're going to have some pretty good pictures if you can kind of somewhat hold it together. But there's a lot of the mid-range stuff out there too, which I caught to show you guys talking about testing, but there's a lot of mid-range stuff that even if a new person grew it well, and it was just mid-range, they may just be defeated and not continue it.
Right.
So again, it is about getting good kernels in people's hands.
Okay. I totally agree. I totally agree. And I kind of want to make myself very clear on this because I do support more than $10 a bean. I do. Because there are times, there are circumstances where I do believe you're going to pay more than $10 a bean. I believe that. And so for that, like I believe, say, if my friend, I'm going to use you as an example actually, and because I think if I, as a fan of yours and an audience member of yours and a member of your community, I follow your adventure. Not to mention, I'm sure if I was a member of your community, it would be a lot easier to get my hands on these beans at a much further reduced rate than what the average person would, because we're community people and I understand how that works. The thing is, though, is that if I followed the journey and I seen what was available, I did it with you. I had an attachment to the bean in ways that maybe someone who's just looking for the next latest and greatest won't appreciate, then maybe I would pay. I would pay for an exclusive drop, for something that's only limited. You tell me there's 1,000 beans, kernels in this drop, and it's 15, it's $20 a bean. I understand why people would be upset, right? First of all, because it's so expensive, but more importantly, I understand why people would be excited about this, because it's something exclusive. No one else is going to get their hands on this. It is one of a kind. I just don't think once it becomes mainstream that it should really hold up that same legacy.
Here's where I like smash my own argument to pieces though, because again, like while it may be too rich for my blood, I I've got a lot of crazy friends, and they'll spend a couple $1,000s on a group of them together, um, or on like a cut. So I've seen over $100 per before. That sounds crazy, but at the end of the day, like I would never pay that, but at the end of the day, what that produces is well worth more than that if you were to not have grown it and had to go to the store. So even if it was 200 per, and especially if you clone it, it's still a great return on your investment. So that's where you can like smash the argument, but I think at the same time too, with the amount of these things that are produced on a regular sized plant from the large companies doing it, they're in the tens of thousands. So never feel bad for a person with a boat. You know?
Yeah, yeah, no, you're 100% right. Okay. Again, let me be clear. I totally agree with that statement. Okay, so we're on the same page that a cut is worth more than a bean. In most
It's
cases,
reliable.
right? I would assume. Let's assume that cut A is top of the line, whatever, and then kernel A is also top of the line. I would be paying a lot more for that already germinated, that already established, that already developed plant than I would for that bean, right? So I totally agree that the price of a cut. So what would be the most, okay, so what would be the most you ever paid for a cut? So personally, we're probably getting in the hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, I would say
Think
close
of
to 1,000, maybe
yeah.
100 bucks.
I'm
Yeah.
up. Mrs. P is looking at me going like, "What?" But I've seen her makeup.
That's
Oh,
not, that's
the the
not,
the thing.
I feel you, bro. I've been in the stores. I've been in the
It's
stores.
not cheap. It ain't
No.
cheap. No, the thing is
I
I'm with you. I'm probably with you. I've heard of cuts selling for thousands of dollars. So we're sitting, we're sitting here talking about hundreds of,
well,
and I kind of understand that. What do you? Go ahead.
there was, there was the dude who shall rename the names, but $10,000 cuts for his pretty hot stuff, his exclusive cuts.
Yes.
And I pulled a winner from his genetics, and we had communicated, we knew each other, and he put it on his menu for $2,500. So there were cuts of mine selling for 2,500 at one point, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. But yeah, that's done.
Well,
So they'll be when I'm done working with it, I'll be giving them away for free.
oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. You know what? First of all, I am never going to tell someone how they should feed their family, right? I think if you set the price of something and somebody wants to pay that price, then I don't care. I have a Grand Theft Auto set that I got received an incredible like I got a hat, a key, a money bag, some DLC. I paid hundreds of dollars for that. Some people would think, "Wow, you're stupid." To me, it was worth every damn penny. So if I'm not gonna say anything. But again, as I said earlier, I understand if somebody scoffs at that and says that's too much.
I do.
Then you're right. It is too much for you. It's not, or may not, for someone else. So cuts are different breed. Cuts are totally different. And in fairness, I haven't actually hashed out what I think good pricing is for cuts. And to be perfectly honest, you and I both said, you said you said 1,000, and I was like, yeah, I'm up there with you at 1,000, just right off the cuff. I'm like, yeah, I'd probably pay 1,000 for something. So to think that it wouldn't be off the table for me to pay, for me to pay wouldn't happen because there's no way in hope in hell I'm spending that kind of money. But I'm saying if there was just this something that came around, yeah, it's not totally unheard. It's like an old car, bro. Someone looks at a chassis of a '69 Mustang Shelby GT and it says it's rusted to shit. And someone looks at that and goes, it's garbage. Someone else is looking at that and going, there's thousands of dollars right there, right? So
Yep.
yeah, I totally agree. It's the beans that get me stirred because we can't guarantee germination. We can't guarantee pheno expression. We don't know
Yep.
really anything, right? It's a mystery bag.
Well, and that's why sometimes things are more expensive is because people have taken the time to work things further. And when you work things further, you should be able to describe and get more predictable results. And that is worth paying for too. And that's not really a route that a lot of people, unfortunately, that are going into it are taking because it's too easy to almost turn and burn.
Right.
But the people who have been around for a long time and will remain to be around for a long time, that's what they're working on because that'll be kind of their signature thing. And further that, I think the next step of that is being able to work with like the stash blend, and soil companies. When you have a particular formula that you grow with, if you grow genetics that you've created in those and you have a like SOP, standard operating procedure for people to follow, if you can pick up the same stuff I'm using and keep the same environments that I tell you to, you should get the same result. And I think that is ultimately where I'd love to see breeders be able to aim for, because that shows intent and that shows results. And that's ultimately what we want to give to people.
Totally agree. Yep, totally agree. Very well said. Very well said. And you know what? And someone in the free the seed. Someone is mentioning. You know, let it go. Let the genetics go. Some would scoff, and others would say, do it for free. Let it go. Nobody should be doing nothing. What kind of are you working on a breeding project right now?
Yes. Yeah,
Oh, you are?
I'm working on a couple. Yep. So I have no joke. So my two main keepers are the Westport grape juice and the Kool-Aid Man. And that Kool-Aid Man was that $2,500 cat. But those are my keepers, and I've been doing a lot of work with the Westport grape juice. But I was like, I reversed it. Why don't I put it together with the Kool-Aid Man? And the result came out phenomenal. So I'm calling that no joke. I've been finished with that myself for a while. Testers have it right now. I'm going to put up some more testers for people to get and
Yep.
then give me feedback, because the more environment, the better. And then maybe at the end of the year, I'll be able to release that once I feel confident in it. And again, like, I'm able to give people a phenotypic expression. Like, I'm seeing very distinctly in photos from the testers. I'm like, oh, that is definitely the Kool-Aid Man leader. Oh, that is definitely a Westport grape leader, because I'm familiar with those plants. I can spot their traits. So yeah, that's what I'm currently working on. And actually in the tent right there, I'm doing another reversal just to create more, because I didn't realize it was going to be as rad as it was. So to my own horn there, but I'm like, I need to make more.
Yes, you should. Yes, you should. Bro, that's awesome, man. What's like I haven't personally started dabbling in breeding. However, I have some friends in very high places that are dabbling for me. And one of the craziest things I've learned, and this is like I said, I've never really done the breeding. I barely have grown the plant, is what I would argue to many. And to see the amount of testing that goes into good genetics is remarkable. The heat testing, the drought testing, the light stress, it's just they're the heat stress and the temperature. I said those, but I just mean the testing of it. It's just the things that you've got to put the plants through to know that they're going to be stable enough for the masses is crazy. I didn't realize those steps that went in. So when you say that you're looking for testers and you say that it's very important that you get those environments tested, you're 100% right. Because even Chris, when I grew his Chill Out OG, he even said that I got expressions from his genetics that he didn't receive or get anywhere else. So even someone who's taken all the steps to the things that you're gonna see are so vast, are incredible. You never really know. You never really know. So testing is very important, and having the right testers is even more important. I'm sure you agree.
It is. Yeah, because the most important thing about a tester is being able to provide feedback. It doesn't matter how good you are, how new you are, how experienced you are. Like, I honestly want the full range. I want somebody who's going to mess things up. I want somebody who's going to make normal mistakes that a new grower does, because that's what they need to go through. But yeah, it does get pretty extensive, and that's why it's beneficial. Like, I can't do outdoor here, but I have a couple people I know that anything I send them, they'll do it outdoors for me. So that allows me to answer the question, how's it do outdoors?
Right.
As it's important. Um, but there's always, there's always, just like that expression you mentioned too, there's always that one in 1,000. There's always that 1 in 10,000. As much testing as people do, sometimes there's expressions. Again, you get that unicorn, or maybe you get that 1 in a 10,000 one that has some intersex traits. That stinks. Contact the breeder, let them know. Hopefully, they'll want to ask you some questions and try to find out deeper. But
Yep.
if it's like a 1 in 10,000 situation, you just kind of roll with it. But the best quality of a tester is the ability to provide feedback and get started right away, because it doesn't help the breeder if you hold on to them for 6 months and then start them.
100%. 100%. So you heard it right there. So the best things to do are to document and to start right away. If somebody wanted to test for you in particular, what do you look for? Or what do you like? What are you looking for testers? How do they test for you?
Previously, I had just kind of a survey that I selected at random, but
Mhm.
it asked about, your grow experience. It asked about the media that you're using. Because again, I do kind of want to find the person who's doing it in a hydroponic. I do want to find somebody who's doing, cocoa. I want to find
Mhm.
somebody who's doing living soil. I asked about, lights. Is it LED? Is it HPS? Just kind of different things about environment. Like, are you able to keep tight parameters on your, VPD, or do you just kind of take it as it is? Because both of those growers exist, you know? So yeah, that's kind of what I look for in testers is just tell me what you're doing. I'll let you know specifically what about the morphology of the plant or the tester that I'm looking for. Um, I need to get that link back up though for that survey because I want to. I'll put some up on the website in the store though. I'll
It's
put some testers up there.
It's going to
Yeah.
be a huge advantage having the website, bro. Having that hub for everyone to join. Yeah, man, it's going to be sweet, bro. It's going to be sweet. I'm glad you got it up because that's that next level of creation. Are you the only one that's working the site?
I am, and I went with so you're definitely a savvy person, um, and I'm sure a lot of the audience are too because a
I
lot of
got you
people are on the
fooled,
same
bro.
journey, whether it be
Sorry.
with with this phone or with something else. But so like WordPress, it has great SEO, and that's how people find you. So I went with that, but it was a harder interface for me to understand. Wix, which I've used in the past, is basically drag and drop. There you go. Has bad SEO. So I tried to do something fancy, and I was like, dude, just keep it basic. And I kept it basic. And that's fine because I think ultimately a lot of the people that will be going to my website are going to be because they've probably heard me talk about it or because it's in the show notes somewhere. I don't think people are really Googling Chad Westport. So that's all right.
Oh, I bet they are. I bet they are. I know they are. It looks great. It looks great. The website is
Thank you.
fantastic. Mrs. P's looking at it. I have already taken a look at it, and it's very well done. Be proud of yourself. I'm glad you think that I'm savvy because it takes a lot of work to make it look like I'm savvy. But thank you. As you know, as a creator, it's important that we have these places where people can go to communicate, to keep in touch, because we're one delete away from losing that communication from YouTube or any other platform for that matter. So it's very, very important that emails, an email list, or a way of communicating, such as a website. Life of a creator, Chad. I'm kind of curious, man. You are doing so many things right now. What does how do you stay focused? You've got the website, you've got the channel, you've got multiple projects. How are you staying focused? And go ahead with a few of those projects.
Have a big whiteboard. Big whiteboard helps everything.
That's
You have things written down, and I have the calendar hanging next to it. So those are big things because you think you'll remember everything. It's just like taking notes while you're growing. Like you think you're gonna remember, oh, the humidity was off that week. No, you write things down. So
100%.
I start by writing things down. I've got the next 2 months of what I need to do written out in there. And I kind of take it just like I try chunk by chunk. I like to get one project 100% done instead of everything 75% done, which is something I struggled with in the past. then you just never get anything done. Um, so I do. I kind of just like have to sit down, get things done, and then move on to the next thing. God dang, I forgot what I was gonna say there. It was like an important part of it, but
Project,
yeah,
the whiteboard, writing everything down.
yeah. Writing. Dang it. Thank you for yeah.
Ah,
I
shit,
tried.
no, there was about another 10 seconds after that I'm also spacing on as well. You then proceeded with another send.
I remember now.
Go ahead, go,
Thank
go,
you.
go.
See,
Yep, yep,
long enough.
we got it.
Not long enough, it helps. I love what I do. Again, like music is part of my background, and part of that also extended into audio engineering. I'm professionally trained, went to school for audio engineering, so I get joy in doing a lot of that stuff. Video editing, it's linear. It's a timeline. It's the exact same thing as audio. You're just moving chunks of pictures around too. So like getting to learn like new tricks, trying to discover new tools, find little things, like that's how I kind of get a lot of things done. It's because I'm really interested in it. Like I enjoy the growth. It keeps me curious, and that's how I get a lot of these projects done because it really is stupid the amount that I work, but I am so lucky to be putting the effort into what I put it into. So it's a good thing. But yeah, gotta love what you do. Gotta be curious, and that really does. That drives me through the day because so many things I want to do. There's not enough time.
There is not enough time. That is the truth, bro. That is the truth, man. And do you enjoy editing? Because like I know you do audio, but
Sick,
do
right?
you enjoy putting the video and the yeah?
Dude, it's sick, right? Like if you've done editing, like again, like I will watch the same like 2 second like fade to get like the millisecond cut to the right point. Like it's sometimes it's a little bit dangerous, but yeah, I do. I enjoy the editing. It's a sick thing. It takes a certain type of personality. Again, producing music, the engineer is the guy who listens to the same song 78 frickin' times. Like,
Yep.
you got to be a
Yep.
certain type of personality.
Yeah, bro. Man, listening to your own content over and over and over again, like you're putting a clip together and you listen to that same clip 70 times. And then I gotta take it up to the old lady and be like, so does this like sound good? Because I think it's ridiculous. She's like, no, it's great. I'm like, okay, then I'm just gonna post it then. Because now it sounds dumb. Because I've listened to it so many times. You play the guitar, right?
I do. So I played the guitar. I started out in like punk bands. So compared to my like classically trained folks, I don't really play guitar, but yes, I play guitar. I couldn't find four people. I was in bands. We played out a little bit, but they aren't. Nobody was as motivated as I was to like try to actually do something. So I was like, dude, I want to do rock and roll and skateboarding my whole life. That didn't work. So I was like, all right, y'all suck. I'm gonna become a DJ. And this was like the 90s. This is when the rave scene was just like popping off. And I got involved with that in electronic DJ for over a decade and produced music as well. So yeah,
Good for you, man.
that was my music experience. Not necessarily the instrument player, but I can make everybody sound really, really good.
Okay, well, with that being said then, Chad, I'm going to be calling you when I need help because it took me, and I'm not even joking, it took me 6 months to dial in my audio. Yeah, yeah. It was a long time. I lost viewers. It was horrible. It was horrible because I switched to an XLR microphone and which, well,
Okay,
actually,
professional.
that's right. That's right. But actually, in fairness, the only reason I did that was because I switched to a 2 PC streaming setup, and then I needed a mixer to send the audio both ways, and an
Okay.
XLR was the next option because then I can put the XLR into the mixer and then send the mixer both ways. Wow. Learning how to adjust audio, learning about pitch and gain, and
then teaching me.
And then, oh my gosh, Chad, it was incredible trying to figure it out. And then trying to wire it into my system. It was, I don't want to do it again, but because I did it, I feel so comfortable now behind my own system with the audio and the way things are going that if somebody was like, I'd be like, I can fix it. So if something goes wrong, I'm calling you.
I mean, again, the audio engineering taught me something that helps me with like the video production, with the video editing, and even plants too. And what that was is, it's signal flow because, the sound's coming in from over here and you're trying to get it to the speakers. Where in the signal flow is the breakdown? So you kind of start in the middle and then you work that way through it. So yeah, that's kind of a something that has helped all throughout life that I picked up in school there.
Oh my God, the fact that you just said that is like, that's the last thing I learned, bro. Because, I was doing everything wrong, man. So I wasn't getting quality sound, so I was changing it on the PC side, and then I wasn't getting so then I was changing it on the mixer side, and then I would get it too high, and then it was peaking before it got to the mixer, and then I was just like, I was so lost. And then I learned that from the middle out. That was like one of the, oh my God, the fact that you just said it like that was like even an aha moment for myself in regards to just how things get put together. So you're so right. Yeah, it's a learning curve, right? No matter what you take on in life, you're gonna, I always say you can either test the water with one foot or you can test the water with both feet. You jump in, either you're gonna break your ankles or you're gonna enjoy your time. And hopefully you don't break your ankles. No, you have to, you gotta jump in, man. We can't be sitting on the sidelines, not experiencing greatness. And there's gonna be times of struggle, but then now I can sit and talk about that struggle with you and laugh about it. And here I am today, a better man because of it. So struggle isn't horrible. I'm sure you've struggled tons.
Perseverance and patience.
Mm-hmm.
Again, two things that are going to help you in the grow room, that are going to help you in life. This plant teaches you all kinds of crazy things. I didn't start treating my stomach biome right until I learned a whole bunch about the soil biome, and I'm like, wait a minute, they got little microbes and stuff. I got little microbes and stuff. Maybe I should treat the two similar, and yeah, all kinds of lessons.
Good idea. I currently have, I have high cholesterol, and I'm kind of like torn between taking cholesterol medication or trying, like, it's not that I'm not trying to fix my diet, but like being cholesterol aware, I guess would be a better way to put it. And all the, like, I hear so many negatives about or I hear so many positives about the medication, but then I hear the negatives about it too, and I'm just like, God, there's got to be a way that I can avoid it while still being healthy. And that's the battle that I'm going to take on next, is how to avoid cholesterol medication, because it looks like I can't. Looks like I'm going to take it, but I hear that like it's tied to dementia and yeah, all these other, yeah. So I have homework to do, and that's what I'm afraid of, is trying to find what that balance is in life between health, diet, and then medicine, pharmaceuticals.
It is. And there's not everything that our bodies can do or provide. There's things that over time, like that, our bodies just kind of run out, of steam. So yeah, not those things are surprising. Funny that you mentioned that. My damn doctor told me that too recently. And so I'm grocery shopping different. I'm trying to be, more exercise conscious. Um, but it was like, I like music in the grocery store and I have high cholesterol, officially old. Like, damn.
Yeah, damn. Same thing. Same thing. I'm pretty sure the higher the number, the better. So no, I'm just joking. I'm doing pretty good.
I'm an overachiever.
Yeah, I'm an overachiever. Yeah, yeah. They say average parents drink 2 to 3 beers a day. I'm like 6, so I'm above average. I saw a meme like that. I like that. Okay, Chad. If anyone wanted to reach out, or if anyone wanted to get a hold of you or talk one-on-one or support you in any way, where could they do it? Where should we send them?
Thank you for giving me opportunity for that. Instagram is kind of where you find out what's going on. Chad.Westport, that's the Instagram. Website, chadwestport.com. That's where you can find like the back catalog of my work, links to some of the videos and the store as well, some of that memorabilia. Uh, Chad Westport YouTube channel. That's where you find me and Mr. P talking about positivity in the Just One Thing series. So you go and check that out. Those are the places where people could find me. And congratulations for you. Many people have tried. I have never made a Discord account. You are the first. You broke me. Hats off.
Hey, I can appreciate that, my brother. Yeah, you and I were kind of talking about that before the show, and briefly jumped into Discord, got each other situated, and then and so we were confident rolling in here. I got to be honest, Discord is free. The video quality is awesome, and because like when you create a Discord and then you bring folks in, people will boost it for you, and then when you boost it, you can unlock more things. And 4K quality is one of those things, and having more people in the chat room is one of those things. And I got to be honest, Discord is an incredible space for conversation. I was reluctant to go, but once I saw that, like, it's 100% community based, 100% community based, and it's a community for the community. It runs itself. You know, I run through there because people are showing crazy good pictures all the time, so I can't stay away. But it's it's a great space for communication, and to be able to have this kind of video conversation is wicked. And I don't like using StreamYard because I got to pay for it, and Zoom because I got to pay for it. And I can use this for free.
You hacked the system.
That's it. Hacked the system. Hired my wife. Got a few cameras. Turned a studio, and it's all it took. Mr. Westport, it was an absolute delight to sit with you this evening. I absolutely appreciate you for coming in last minute too. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. It was a hell of a conversation, man. And I'm rooting for you. I can't wait to see all your projects succeed. And hopefully we can send a few good flockers your direction. Thank you, Chad.
Pleasure, man. Thank you for having me. And thank you to all the flockers out there.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Chad. Take care. Have a great night, man.
You too. I'll show you how old I am by trying to figure out how to hang up.
Don't worry about it. Mrs. P's got you, brother. Wow.
Oh.
Boom. Huge shout out to my good friend, Chad Westport. That was an epic conversation, and I want to thank him for coming in. Behind the scenes, I had a cancellation. Chad, I wouldn't have been able to get him until like way later because we're like 5 weeks booked. But he was able to come in on short notice, so I really want to give him a huge shout out for pulling up. Chad's got an awesome story. He's an even better dude. His hair is impeccable, and I'm a huge fan. So if you aren't already, make sure you go to chadwestport.com, get all the latest information on our boy, so that you can stay in the loop, guys. That was an episode of Tea with P. Wow. Wow, the amount of craziness that's going on in the world and the amount of conversation that we can have with you. Yes. Before I get into tonight's community highlight, I want to take this moment to give a huge shout out to you guys. Huge shout out to you guys because it's been an incredible journey to create this kind of show and this kind of program and this kind of live. I call it a show, but it's a live, whatever you want to call it, live stream. It's absolutely epic that I have your support the entire way. I see you guys in the chat. Everybody that was here from the beginning, Stoked, Organic, Funtucky, Reginald, Brita, Minnie, Double A, Lieutenant, The Growers Hangout. You guys have been here the whole damn time. Changa, I saw you the whole time. Thank you guys for being here and supporting me through the entire show, because that means the world to me, and I see you, and it just tickles me. So thank you guys for being you. With my platform, I'd like to take this opportunity to do a community highlight. Yes, so Here we go. All right, guys. Tonight's community highlight is going to be a creator that actually, I don't think actually Mrs. P has this pulled up yet, so we'll give her some time. This is a creator that created a video for, or not a video, sorry, a rap song for my friend Rob, Chris, and myself. And I have him on my Twitter. Now, you're never going to find it. Nanu, N-A-N-U. Oh, man, I meant to pull him up before this, and I totally spaced. No?
Well, there's a few, but I don't think any of them are right.
Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. I'm trying to think of the quickest way to find his name. I don't know his name perfectly. And trying to search him on Twitter. He created a rap song. Somebody in the chat might actually know. No. Was it my Instagram? Oh, well, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Where he just commented on something in my notifications on X.
I don't know where that is.
It'll be the little bell. I really want to play. I really want to play this, but I really should have had this set up already. So, Nanu 420. No, is it Cannabis? It's totally Cannabis, and he put down a few bars for Rob, Chris, and I, and it's a shame that I didn't have it already pulled up. No, shoot. I'm gonna have to do a special segment next week in lieu of this because now I feel bad that we missed it out. But what I will do is when I do find it, I will share. I did share it on my Twitter too, but man, I'm so active on my Twitter that you'll never find it. So what I'll do is I will find the link and I will post it as a community post on the Pigeons 420 main channel. Okay, main channel, because I was hoping that I would find it just in that little intro. That's why we ran it, so that we could, but I didn't find it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Tea with P, where the T is beer and the P is me and you are you with a beautiful smile. And I hope that you guys enjoyed the show. And if you did, could you do me a favor and hit that like button? Do it for me. Also, do it for the children. Okay? We're going to do it for the children. And if you don't like kids, let's do it for world peace. Okay? So it's for the children and it's for world peace. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, tomorrow we are not live. What's tomorrow? I thought there was something tomorrow. Nope, nothing, not a thing. No, I know they're not live. We're not live. Okay. No, it's Blunt Brothers is going to be premiering tomorrow over on the CLTV YouTube channel. That's what it is. So I want you guys to go tune in. That's going to be with Trey Strong's 420 and my boy ROBCLTV. Watch the dynamic duo, these two crazy sons of a guns coming together and giving us Blunt Brothers over on CLTV. So make sure you turn into that. Huge shout out to Mrs. P on the P's and Q's, doing a fantastic job. I am sweating now, and it is time. It's time to destroy everything. Let's get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next week. Peace.